Day 27, guys. We made it. Few more days. All right, let's jump in. So with Lily Singh's book, Be a Triangle, the next few pages 82, 83, 84, it talks about, or she's still talking about the unsubscribing, but on page 82 there's a cool little graphic. It has like a picture of that Plinko game where you put the that marble or ball in at the top and it goes down these little pegs, and it kind of says like basically your belief of how you can win is basically just going like a straight route straight down, but then in reality it's like the way you can win is, you know, there's plenty of routes. Like even it goes into like any of the like buckets or segments at the end. Hard to explain. If you've never seen the game, look it up. Basically, you know, that kind of got me thinking about how life works with expectations. And you know, she mentions on page 84 about rigid ideas. She used an example saying that she used to have these rigid ideas of how friendships had to look. Things like she had to know them for so many years and they had to know her before she had become successful, and they had to talk pretty much every single day and be pretty much besties, just to be categorized as like a friend, versus like being more flexible with it. And you know, and it kind of got me thinking, it's like, well, what kind of things am I not flexible about? You know, it's like usually it's points of stressors. Like, of course, you know, there's certain stuff that we need, that we want, that we must have to have our lives kind of more in order, more structured. You know, it can't be like, oh, I don't have enough money to eat or pay my bills and like I just need to ignore it because it's a stressor and like blah blah blah, change my thinking. Like that's not necessarily gonna help if you don't have your basic needs met, and then like even more of a cushion than your basic needs just to feel a sense of comfort sometimes can be helpful. But I've noticed basically a lot of people a lot of times just trying to, you know, myself, I was talking about myself, like if I think about things that stress me out, even if it's not like a certain category of things, and I'm kind of rushed this morning because I'm trying to get out of the house in the next hour, but yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it, how it's like, you know, we often feel kind of rushed, but I guess on the note of feeling kind of just, you know, things that can become stressful, like kind of being aware of things that can be considered stressful. Some of those things would include just how we look at a situation, thinking it's supposed to unfold a certain way, it's supposed to start a certain way, the process is supposed to be a certain length of time, a certain, you know, it's supposed to go a certain way, and yeah, so like, I don't know if this is even a good example, but like, okay, maybe it is. Like this morning, okay, this isn't a good example, but basically it's the only thing I have to go by, that I can think of off the top of my head. So like, you know, I've been I think I recorded recently and posted about the topic of flakiness in friendships and relationships and trying to like meet people, dating, that kind of thing. Um, and then, how it can be a challenge. And so, of course, when you are a person who schedules with people often, it can be stressful because of that. And then it's kind of funny that right as I had posted that, I think last night, I get this message like this morning, like early, like I get a phone call from my friend about this concert early this morning, like before 7 in the morning, and I was awake, and they were like, "Are you awake?" And I just ignored it. Like I was up. I was like, I'm not gonna answer my phone. And then maybe around 7 something, a little after 7 a.m., they text me, and they're like kind of giving me like the kind of like play-by-play of kind of what's going on in the morning, and like we're trying to get these wristbands for this concert. And so instead of me meeting them at 11 with plans to get where we're trying to go by 12, all of a sudden this morning at like 6 something, the conversation starts opening of, oh, can we meet at 8:30 in the morning instead? And I'm just thinking like, oh God, no. Like I was awake, but I'm like, I'm not trying to like get dressed, get ready, get up, go wait in line in the cold for like ever, and then spend all day. Like this concert doesn't start till like 6 p.m. So I wasn't trying to spend like all day like that. Plus I was like, I want to like ease into the morning. I didn't sleep good. So it's like kind of the opposite of flaky. It's like I get stressed about like flaky situations, like when people might flake out. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe people won't flake out. I mean, I know these friends aren't going to flake out for sure. I mean, they're flying in from like other states. There's no way they're going to flake out. But I mean, like, it's just kind of funny because I was like, that's just the opposite of a problem I've been having kind of more recently. It's like, okay, let's start like 4 hours earlier than we were going to plan to start. And I was almost laughing because I was just like, this is a whole other thing. It's like a whole other, like, I'm not mad about it, but it's just funny because I'm just like, how opposite could you get? Like, on the one hand, you have a concert experience with people who don't even want to be there half the time, half of it, and they're just like doing other stuff and like trying not to get there early or anything, or on time, or even like trying to only be there for the very end. And then on the other hand, there's like people who want to get there so early that it's like, dude, you should have told me. I would have like slept on time, plus I woke up early. I had some weird ass dreams. It was just kind of strange. Like, it was just kind of funny, but I'm just saying all that to say that, like, a lot of times when you have an event planned, there's expectations, right? There's expectations of who's going to be there, how it's going to be, what time I'm going to leave, how my energy needs to be in the morning. Hope to God that my energy is where I want it to be as preferred, before I start, like, doing what I need or whatever. Like, it's just kind of funny to me. I'm just like, how the heck? But I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. That's kind of all I really have to say. But, yeah, it's kind of funny, though, just because it's like, how else, what else? Strange. That's such a strange thing to have happen. But, yeah, we all kind of have expectations. Sometimes the expectations can create a lot of stress, is what I'm trying to say. And it's not, I'm not trying to say, like, if you have important things, like, some things we need to stress about, otherwise we won't thrive, or we won't get by. But, other things, it's like this optional kind of stuff with, like, concerts and all that kind of thing. It's like, it's not going to affect, how I eat. It's not going to affect my housing, like, it's not going to affect, like, the basic needs that I have to have met every day, whether or not I get there or don't get there, or get there too early or get there really late. At the end of the day, it's entertainment, at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. I feel like music is like, it definitely has spiritual components to it. And that's one thing I love about live music. It's like you get oftentimes you can get like this feel of just a really different kind of energy that you kind of tap into after going to concerts sometimes. It's kind of like, how, I don't know if this is even the same thing, but you know how people talk about like a hive mentality, or like even when you see like ants, and they're all kind of like doing something, like they're all like in a pile, just kind of like all have their roles and they're all doing stuff. Like animals, that have like large amounts of animals all in one section, just like doing things. Like it's kind of funny, because at concerts it's kind of like that. It's like everybody's kind of just like doing their thing. And even at the festival, the EDM festival last weekend, it was kind of interesting how it's like you see the crowds of people, just like the DJs are just like controlling the crowds of people with the music, and everybody, like when the beat drops, like everybody goes crazy, or when the song is just like a popular song, everybody goes crazy, or like towards the end of every set, everybody's a lot more hyped up because they know how to make the music make the people kind of move the way they want. And at the same time, you have all the movement, the people who are tuned into the music actually vibing with the music. You have other people who are trying to like maybe get to the bathroom or get food or go find their friends. So you have these other lines of people kind of weaving in and out of the people who are like watching the actual DJs and like paying attention to the stage. And then there's these other lines of people that are just like, they create like these lines. It almost reminds me of ants. It's like they create this other like separate line, like couple other lines on the sides and going through the middle of the crowd or whatever. And there's just these lines, like endless lines of people just like walking through, walking past, walking, through this, people are just following each other. And it's like, none of these people are talking to each other. We don't know who, like, I don't know the people on the other side of the crowd or in the back or in the front or whatever. Like, but we all kind of know what to do, and it's just kind of like an interesting environment to be in, because it's like we're all kind of there having, not really experiencing the same thing in the same way, but like, we're all in the same environment, just doing this one thing. And it's like we're still kind of there doing one thing, but we're all just separately doing our own individual things. But I don't know many experiences other than maybe like churches and things like that, or like those types of conferences or something that are like motivational type things, like, where, or just different religious services where it's like there's masses of people and there's like a stage or like some kind of like something that a lot of people are paying attention to and they're all tuned into it. There aren't that many situations like that for humans. Maybe movie theaters would be another one where it's like maybe it's a comedy and everybody laughs at the same time, or like, it's a horror movie and everybody like flinches at the same time and like jumps, like, not everybody, but it's like a lot of people, that kind of have the same reaction to what's going on that they're paying attention to. And there's something about those environments that I really like, because it's like usually we're not that connected with that many people, even though it's not like a deep, like, emotional connection to the people, but it's like it's a form of a connection to the music, to the people, to the artists, to the art form, to whatever it is. And I find those experiences to be fun. They're unique. No two are alike. Like, even if you go see the same band with the same people, and even if you say you get seats and you're in the same seats, every time, it's going to be a different experience every time, because there's always going to be different people around you. The line that you're in is going to be different. The set, the way that they play the set, it's going to be a little bit different every time. Even if they play exactly as the album, it's usually going to have a little bit of improv here and there, that's unique to that show. And so, and even when you do go to shows, like, I've heard from friends that go follow certain bands on tour and see like multiple shows, and even the set lists are completely different. like, I don't know how many times I've seen Lane 8 by now, and the set list was different every time. But it wasn't like a tour. It's been over like maybe 2 years, but a 2-year period of time. But anyways, I gotta get ready to leave, so I will cut this one short, unfortunately. But it's something to think about. I kind of am not talking about the same topic so much, but just something to think about. If there's something stressful, what are other routes they can be taken? Because a lot of times we see like one route and we're like, this doesn't look like I need it to look. But sometimes it's like, okay, there's more to it. And yeah, like just trying to like make sense of all that. But yeah, I gotta get up. I gotta get dressed. I gotta start getting ready to go. And all right, with that, thanks for listening.